To Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. We tried to improve the background by making it blurry, but we're going to make all kinds of stuff clear tonight. This is the night after that stupid fight. It was a big waste of time. Sorry. Tomorrow the Ravens play at 1 o'clock. We're going to be there. We're going to do sports tomorrow. But today we're talking politics because Fez has some interesting little bit of a trajectory that is occurring. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hi, Ron. This is Fez.
Hello.
And I have some very news that will make Donald will make him very angry. Won't make him think that the election is rigged, but he'll have comments that there were illegal votes, and that prediction is Fez's prediction, and hold me to this, that he will be under 50% in the popular vote. Now, I base this on he's at 50% now, and he's been losing. At one time, he was at 52.1%. To Kamala's 47. But based on my calculations, and my sources of major network votes still to be counted in California, with 95% of the vote in. Kamala is winning 58.8% to 38%. Now, you draw that conclusion, the rest of those votes, that Kamala will end up with 489,316,540. That will put him below the threshold of 50%, without a doubt.
Oh, yes, and that
my prediction is 49.7 or 49.8.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing because MAGA in fact even have majority, and it was supposed to be the greatest landslide.
There's another thing is from election night of 52.1 to 47, 1% difference in the popular vote could now possibly go down to less than 1.5 percentage points, which makes it a very close election, despite whatever the Electoral College, which shouldn't exist, says.
And actually pretty close to what was predicted. So don't be running around saying it's some kind of shocker. The also is the whole thing was that not enough people voted to help elect Kamala. So
yes, CG wasn't like 10% less.
That's what I saw on. I was reading the Cook report, which I think is isn't any. I don't know what it is, but it's not left leaning. But
media.
But they say 10% drop off from 2024.
So just think about how important your vote is when you come down to some of these elections, like especially the House, that are separated by one race by 236 votes. So you don't think your vote counts? Go that. If you look,
The big picture of this whole thing is that all of a sudden there isn't any. It's like, oh wait, voting does work, or oh yeah, free elect, no complaints over some rigging of votes. Where we're not in power in 2024, but somehow they were able to. I mean, 2020, but somehow they were able to rig the election in all these states. But later, the way that it's the vote works. The one guy, Joe Rogan, said, "Oh, yep, see, it proves he's too big to rig." No, it's just because the not enough people showed up to vote. He got the result he wanted. So all of a sudden, and he didn't even believe it was rigged. But he's not saying it. But on the other hand, they're such a poor character. These MAGA people, not one person is saying, "Well, I guess it turns out, mind that." Even if they were trying to like, somebody said that would be, it just proves that don't don't let anyone tell you that there's not a difference, especially if you look at the news and you see what's happening.
if you just look at the cabinet picks, the Joe Biden and his cabinet picked people who were who were who had experience, who were should be. Now you people who are like the opposite.
Just the selections, especially Matt Gates, is such a strange gimmick, and even Trey Gowdy. I don't know if he's in Congress or he was in Congress. I know he was in Congress, right? So even he said that the Matt Gates and his dead on arrival. It's ridiculous.
There's one thing a lot of the people, how Matt Gates has attacked the Senate, all right, people in the
Yeah.
time Ron DeSantis will name someone and have a special election for that seat, so that we'll go to another MAGA Republican that Matt Gates can't go back to his seat, so he'll never have a elected position again.
That's right.
And he's not going to get through he couldn't even get through. He wouldn't even go through. I think even if Trump didn't, he would ask his name to be withdrawn because Democrats get to ask questions.
A report that they're trying.
Johnson, Speaker of the House, is trying to keep from coming out, but hopefully at least parts of it come very well could be guilty of crimes of sex trafficking and basically being a pedophile.
Also,
allegedly, but there's a lot of
allegedly.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing to remember is that, what was I going to say? Mike Johnson and they were the worst Congress ever. I think it's pretty much they didn't do anything.
Do nothing.
They did
do
less
nothing,
than nothing
of the do nothing previous do nothing Congress with, I believe it was in the 1920s.
Well, so they they their big was on so called, but on the other hand, Matt Gaetz took pictures of the women he had sex with, girls, high school girls that
And
he had
these are
sex with,
teenagers, and these are not
teenagers. I don't
women.
know, allegedly, and he brought them around. He brought them into session to show off to his buddies. Oh, man, something's wrong with that guy. He's not. It's not. It's
Yeah. And then to show off to his former buddies
yeah. Well,
because no
it,
one likes
all the that just
attention.
kind of it's like it's what is it 1 week 2 weeks since that it's pretty much
Yeah, it's been
everything is
since
going
2 weeks.
exactly how people predicted. I mean, the people who were supporting Kamala Harris and Democratic Party were
Which is why
were saying it was going
people
to
like
go.
us and other people in the movement, progressive movement, were working so hard to make sure Kamala became president.
Yeah,
If you try to say you don't vote because there's no difference between the parties, well, you're you've already found out that
yeah.
that's
And in
completely wrong.
about 70 days, you're really going to find out. 70, yeah. But the thing, over nobody from talk to us, and that's the way it is. No MAGA people want to talk. I mean, even not even that they can't that Trump can't run again, but his supporters and the people who are going to try to help him with this thought waste your time talking to. It's the 33% of people who just for some reason or no reason like did decided to do nothing, which is just as bad as voting for Trump.
Yeah, and the MAGA is the Ron Johnson, senator is in quotations because I guess he is actually senator, but it's amazing. From Wisconsin, his answer to everything is,
One reason will have courts, the presidency, the Congress, the Senate, the media, and
yeah, and
so
CG, I got
be
something to say
prepared.
about the Oslo election results. Right now, there are still 5 seats that are too close to call and not been settled, and the total is we've got to their 218 for majority, but the, the Democrats have 220. Not even out of the realm of probability. Could have 217 seats. I'm predicting more, maybe 214, but I'm looking at it. I could say positively, I could say 215, 220 to 215 as a razor thin majority. Now in the Senate, you have a 52-47 right now. So because they have to do a complete recount because of how close it was. And there's a very good possibility because the votes around, you count the votes around Philadelphia, that Casey could still win that state. So 52-48, which is bad because Tester lost his seat, Brown in Ohio lost his seat. They lost the seat that they already knew they were going to lose in West Virginia.
And also, and so we have faith that Joe Biden will, and the administration now will be able to Trump proof the best.
As much as we did not have disdain for Joe Manchin being basically with his bipartisanship really being going in the hands of the MAGA, is that he's now going with the Democrats to get as many federal judges in place as possible before January 20th. That will help because every case that every case, everything that the Republicans do, Democrats. So there's going to be cases that are going to go through the federal court. And the thing about what Donald Trump says, delay, 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 then progressives can use that same tactic and voters out
Also,
there.
we have the main things to keep in mind is stay engaged, keep looking at finding more credible sources, not corporate media sources. Some sources that you feel you can trust. Stay connected to your friends who feel the same way. Keep trying to back institutions that have been part of America since we found it, part of what makes America great.
Yeah, and CG, both you and I have found the two sources that I want to put out there is the for Baltimore residents, Maryland, the Baltimore Banner, and also the Guardian from London. That is not a corporate media. That it's basically a subscriber funded real facts
And
and
also, that's and then keep connected to a community that you've been part of, and keep fighting and be ready for when things get worse. Be prepared to see it coming. Keep your eye out on opening. Be prepared for the fight that is coming, and also you have to remember that what was I going to say? Social media, because MAGA owns pretty much all the social media. You got to make your own social media. We can make our own media uh, uh, content. We got to put out content. There's like 8 in podcast of the top 20 in podcasts. The only two that might be called somewhat progressive is sadly to say, I mean, Pod Save America, which I don't know, but we're talking not MAGA with MAGA. Last night at that fight, that shows how prevalent MAGA is. You couldn't even get away from it watching that stupid fight.
yeah,
So it's everywhere.
and it wasn't Mike Tyson who was.
You can't sit in your house and do nothing. You can't sit and just get mad at the events. You have to get out and do something. You got to make content. You got to talk to your friends. You got to do the positive in your local community.
As CG pointed out, you need to channel your fear, which can instead of turning into anger, turn into the focus of, and watch out for calls to action. Keep in touch with people in the movement, and try to stay engaged.
Yeah,
And marching and civil disobedience is a
and also
tool
like
that can be used also.
even though you will feel fear and you can feel anger because it's something you see all these events happening beyond control that seem beyond control, and it is quite fearful, and the media is trying to make you afraid. But what you have to remember is this: there's motion. I read this in the Atomic Habits guy explained it kind of. Motion is like getting mad, sitting around your, doing nothing, not talking to anybody, and don't talk politics at work. Uh, Either screaming at the TV or not trying to hear it. But then there's action, which is getting something done. It's don't get engaged, get yourself out there, communicate, do something positive and that's proactive. Uh, they don't MAGA. It comes to them easy. That's why like everybody knows like the standard of quality of any kind of content or anything like that explodes if it's MAGA. That's why all these people try to betray their values and go MAGA because it's so easy to connect into that group. But we have to be going back. We have to push back, and we all are part of it. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. But anyways,
Okay.
on another
Yeah.
note, tomorrow the 1 o'clock, I believe in Pittsburgh, and weird name state.
Sure. Are you sure or something? I don't know.
Well, that's going to
I'll
be
find
great.
out, but
In Kansas City,
it doesn't sound too much like
yeah,
Heinz
it's not
Field.
cool. Or Three Rivers was a cool
Three
name in the old
Rivers.
times. I think that Baltimore really has to win, and it's a road game against Pittsburgh, and it's hard to figure Pittsburgh out. No, you can't really make mistakes because the defense isn't going to give room for it. But I think so. The Ravens have to win that, and the other game, I think Kansas City might actually beat Buffalo and then go on the side because packing it in until the playoffs like they did last year. The Dolphins play. Who do the Dolphins play, Paz?
Dolphins play the. I would put the money on the points of the Dolphins. I think it's 7 or 7.5. I think they're going to win by this one by double digits. They should. So,
There's another big game.
and everyone,
was.
as I pointed out, I was right about the over under on the Commanders Eagles game. It was over under 31.5 and it finished 44. So, if you listen to me on that one, you could have made a lot of money. So, well,
yeah, I think there's a good Packers, Lions, or Vikings.
I think there's the Bengals Chargers.
That'll be good.
And
really, the Bengals can't really lose any games if they're going to be serious. Hopefully, a Raven win.
So we'll see you
All
later.
Right. Have a good Saturday
Peace
night,
out.
everybody.
Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great night. Bye.
Goodbye.